Have you ever wondered about the man behind the legend of Blackbeard, the most feared pirate of his time? Born Edward Teach, this English pirate ruled the seas during the late 17th and early 18th century, a time when the golden age of piracy was in full swing. He was a towering figure, both literally and figuratively, whose terrifying reputation was only matched by his cunning. But there was more to Blackbeard than the fearsome persona he cultivated. As we peel back the layers of myth and mystery that surround him, we uncover a man who was as complex as he was ruthless. Rumors of a legendary lost treasure, a bounty said to be so vast it's never been found, only add to the enigma that is Blackbeard. So ready your sea legs and adjust your sails. Join us as we delve into the life and times of this infamous pirate. Our story begins with a man named Edward Teach, soon to be known as Blackbeard. Born around the late 17th century, little is known about his early life. Sources suggest he was likely from Bristol, England, a bustling port city that was a gateway to the world. As a young man, Edward took to the seas, drawn by the allure of adventure, freedom and the promise of fortune. His early maritime career was legal but unremarkable. However, the War of Spanish Succession saw many sailors out of work, and the lawless life of piracy began to look appealing. Edward was no exception, and it wasn't long before he turned to a life of piracy. Adopting the sinister moniker Blackbeard, he began his notorious career, terrorizing the Caribbean and the American colonies. From these humble beginnings, Blackbeard would rise to become the terror of the seas. Blackbeard didn't become infamous overnight. It was a journey filled with daring exploits and battles. Edward Teach, more commonly known as Blackbeard, was not born into piracy. His journey into notoriety began as a privateer during the War of Spanish Succession. But when the war ended, like many others, he found himself out of work and turned to a life of piracy. Blackbeard was no ordinary pirate, though. He was a master strategist, known for his cunning plans and creative tactics. He knew that to truly rule the seas, he needed a ship that would strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. His opportunity came in the form of a French slave ship, La Concorde. Blackbeard, along with his crew, seized the vessel in the Caribbean. But Blackbeard wasn't satisfied with merely capturing the ship. He transformed it into a fearsome pirate vessel, fitting it with 40 cannons and renaming it the Queen Anne's Revenge. This ship was not just a tool for Blackbeard. It was a symbol of his power and ruthlessness. With the Queen Anne's Revenge at his command, Blackbeard's exploits grew bolder. He terrorized the American colonies and the West Indies, capturing merchant ships and demanding ransoms. His reputation grew, and with it his infamy. He was feared and loathed, yet also respected by many for his audacity and cunning. Yet despite his success, Blackbeard was not a bloodthirsty man. He preferred intimidation over violence, using his terrifying image to make his enemies surrender without a fight. It was a strategy that served him well, allowing him to avoid unnecessary battles and keep his crew safe. Blackbeard's rise to notoriety was a combination of his strategic mind, his audacious exploits, and his formidable flagship. He was a man who understood the power of fear and used it to his advantage, ruling the seas with an iron fist. With the Queen Anne's Revenge, Blackbeard's reign of terror truly began. Blackbeard was not just a pirate, he was a symbol of terror. Imagine a silhouette looming over the horizon, an image so dreadful that it could freeze the blood in your veins. That was Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, the pirate whose very name sent shivers down the spines of the bravest men. Blackbeard's terrifying image was no accident. It was a calculated strategy to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. He was a tall and powerfully built man with a thick black beard that covered most of his face. He was known to tie slow-burning fuses into his beard and light them during battle, creating a cloud of smoke around his head that gave him an otherworldly, demonic appearance. His attire was equally frightening. He wore a large black coat trimmed with fur. Around his waist he wore a broad belt studded with silver buckles, from which hung a variety of weapons, pistols, daggers and cutlasses. His hat, a wide-brimmed tricorn, was adorned with feathers, adding to his imposing presence. But it wasn't just his physical appearance that made Blackbeard terrifying, it was his tactics. He was known to suddenly appear out of the fog, his ship draped in black flags bearing the image of a skeleton. His sudden and unexpected attacks left his victims paralyzed with fear, allowing him to take control without a fight. Blackbeard was also known to use psychological warfare. He would often leave a single survivor from the ships he attacked to spread tales of his terrifying image and ruthless methods. This not only amplified his reputation, but also ensured that many would surrender their valuables without a fight, just at the mention of his name. In the world of piracy, where might was right, Blackbeard understood the power of fear. He knew that a terrifying image could be more powerful than a fleet of ships, and he used it to his advantage. Blackbeard was a master at creating fear, and he used it to his advantage. With his fearsome image, Blackbeard was ready to make his mark. This terrifying pirate was not just about creating a spectacle of horror, he was a strategist, a tactician who knew how to wield his power and terror to his advantage. Let's dive into some of his most infamous exploits. One of Blackbeard's most notable plunders was the capture of the French slave ship, La Concorde, which he would later rename as his flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge. In a brutal display of power, Blackbeard and his crew overpowered the ship, seizing the vessel and its human cargo. Then there was the blockade of Charleston in South Carolina. For nearly a week, Blackbeard held the city hostage, successfully extorting a chest of valuable medicines. The audacity and success of this raid sent shockwaves through the colonies, further cementing Blackbeard's reputation as a formidable and ruthless pirate. But it wasn't just about looting and plundering. Blackbeard also had his share of naval battles. One of the most epic was the Battle of Ocracoke Inlet. Here, Blackbeard and his crew faced off against Lieutenant Robert Maynard and his crew in a bloody clash. Despite being outnumbered, Blackbeard fought ferociously, leaving a lasting imprint of his defiance and brutality. These exploits, however, were not without consequences. With each battle, with each plunder, Blackbeard was drawing attention, not just from terrified civilians, but also from authorities who were growing increasingly determined to end his reign of terror. Yet it was not the fear of capture that drove Blackbeard. It was the thrill of the chase, the exhilaration of the battle, the intoxication of power. He thrived in the chaos he created, basking in the infamy he had cultivated. These exploits earned Blackbeard his infamy, but they also marked the beginning of his end. Each act of audacity, each show of defiance was a step closer to his inevitable downfall. But that's a story for the next chapter. With every great pirate comes a great treasure. And oh, what a treasure it was reputed to be. Blackbeard's lost hoard, a bounty of unimaginable wealth, has ignited the imaginations of treasure hunters for centuries. Legend tells of a treasure of extraordinary value, gold, jewels and artifacts looted from countless ships, all stashed away in a secret location known only to Blackbeard himself. The allure of this fabled fortune has led many an adventurer on a wild goose chase, their dreams fueled by tales of opulent riches waiting to be discovered. Yet, despite their best efforts and countless attempts, this elusive treasure remains undiscovered. The enigma of its whereabouts, whether buried on a remote island or sunk deep beneath the sea, continues to baffle and bewitch. Just as his fearsome image and daring exploits have lived on in our collective memory, so too has the riddle of his lost treasure. The elusive treasure of Blackbeard remains a mystery to this day. Blackbeard's reign of terror could not last forever. In November of 1718, the law finally caught up with him. Lieutenant Robert Maynard of the Royal Navy was tasked with bringing the notorious pirate to justice. With a small crew and a cunning plan, Maynard sailed into Blackbeard's hideout at Ocracoke Island. The battle that ensued was fierce and bloody. Blackbeard, despite being outnumbered, fought with the ferocity of a lion, his cutlass slashing through the air. But Maynard was prepared. He had hidden most of his men below deck, and when they emerged, the tide of the battle turned. Blackbeard was finally cornered, and after sustaining numerous wounds, fell in battle. His head was severed and hung from the bowsprit of Maynard's ship as a chilling warning to other pirates. With his death, the legend of Blackbeard was sealed. Blackbeard's life was short, but his legacy endures. His fearsome image, daring exploits, and the enduring mystery of his lost treasure have seeped into our cultural fabric, inspiring countless tales, movies, and even video games. His name, like his legendary ship, Queen Anne's Revenge, is synonymous with the golden age of piracy, a time of lawlessness, adventure, and untold riches. Blackbeard may be gone, but his legend sails on, forever etched in the annals of history. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the life of Blackbeard. His life was a thrilling saga of adventure, danger, and mystery that continues to captivate us centuries later. If you enjoyed delving into the world of pirates and unraveling the myth of Blackbeard, please give this video a like. Your support means a lot to us and helps us bring more such fascinating tales to you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to immerse yourself in more exciting narratives and stories. From the annals of history to the mysteries of the universe, we aim to keep your curiosity piqued. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep exploring. Remember, in the words of Blackbeard himself, "A pirate's life is a life for me." Adventure awaits you, mateys, in every video, so stay tuned and happy exploring.